That just, I don't know why. I don't know if you've seen that movie, The Hitman's Bodyguard, with Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson.
Sounds so familiar, but I think I've seen the trailer, but not the film.
Fuck, it's a good watch. You need to watch it. But there's a scene where they catch this ride in this bus full of nuns, and they're quite a festive bunch of nuns singing all these songs, and they cut to the scene where Ryan Reynolds is like crammed between like Samuel L. and these nuns, and they're all just going na 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 na. He's like turning to Ryan Reynolds like in his face like and he's just like, I hate you so much.
Nice.
And they're making a sequel now.
Okay,
they're
cool.
actually filming it. It's going to be called The Hitman's Bodyguard's Wife or something like that. Or Hitman's, yeah, something like that. So in the film, Salma Hayek is married to Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay.
He's the hitman and she's the wife, and they're both badass characters. They're killers in their own right. So it sounds like in the sequel, where in the first one Reynolds was protecting Samuel L. Jackson, in the sequel the wife's going to be in trouble, so they're going to go to him to say, you know, protect my wife like you did me, kind of thing. So yeah, very cool films. I think you'll dig them.
Nice.
It was definitely one of our longest segues into a show.
I was like, oh, cool, just go through. We're not going to do the intro. It's fine. Like,
I was trying to find the right time for it. And then, like you say, if failing that, we can always just stick it right at the beginning of the clip. Our usual cop-out. So we talked a lot about movies, the Snyder Cut, in particular. Let's move on to recent finds and acquisitions and reads and things. And I've got a lot, not just books, but a lot of things that I could show off that I recently acquired.
nice.
These are always fun clips to edit because you have to take all the GoPro footage and stick it in. And anyhow, must I kick off or you kick off?
Yeah, I don't have that much. I just realized one of my things is out of reach, so I'll try.
Well, you can always reach for it as I start to gather my thoughts and get this ready. I'll kick off with some.
Cool.
And then by the time you sit down again, your thing will be in reach because I knew exactly what you were going to go for. So, yeah, one is something that I've had forever and reread off the back of someone asking me, like, if I had to give them, they're a traditional book reader, and they were like, what's the appeal to these comics? If I had to give them something to read, what would it be? And it was a tough thing because I was like, Jesus, okay. And they do kind of like animals, and that's how I reached for We Three. Grant Morrison, Frank Quitely. I've got to say, dude, Frank Quitely's art in this is unreal. It's awesome. Morrison's writing is brilliant. The story is, it's good, but I won't lie to you. If you are an avid animal lover, this will tug on your heartstrings because it's literally like the army takes these pets and turns them into weapons and uses training and or cybernetics, robotics and stuff to actually give them artificial intelligence to a degree. So these creatures actually communicate with each other in a very simplistic form, but just that you get into it and shit happens to them. Like, the basic premise is they then escape from the army and then the military sends things out to neutralize them. So in that whole thing, it does. I mean, every time I read it, I get emotional. There's things in there that rev me up, and I realize it's not that they don't like animals. It's just this is the story, and dude, it doesn't have a doom and gloom ending. That's the only thing I can say about it. But the journey does, it's emotional roller coasting kind of thing. And you do find yourself investing in just these little animal characters. So I suggested it to them, and they were just like, as I just said, the rough synopsis, they were like, they take it, the army tries to stop these creatures. I was like, yeah, pretty much. Like, no, I don't want to read it. Okay, fine. So I reread it in there, and it still holds up. It's still a good story. It's an easy read. I mean, I clapped this in a couple, maybe an hour.
Nice.
It's an easy read. It flows well.
It's actually maybe lend it from you and read it.
If you want to. You'll get through it quickly, but dude, it does tug on the heartstrings. It's very good. And then off the back of that, what got me to think about these was the Uncanny Omar on Thingy Graphic Novel. What is it? Uncanny Omar. I forget their channel. But
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it's not the hardcover.
No, not the hardcover. It's I've forgotten. But basically, Uncanny Omar touched on this one and then put this in the same bracket. Rover Red Charlie by Garth Ennis. So right there, I mean, the guy who did The Preacher, the guy who did fucking Chronicles of Wormwood, and he's doing a story that also is centered around 3 dogs, Rover, Red, and Charlie. And basically, these dogs are now present at the apocalypse. It's the end of the world. You can see the nuclear bombs. People are going hysterical, killing each other.
And
I haven't read it. Yeah, I haven't read it yet, and I do want to read it. But basically, it's also these dogs experiencing in their journey surviving the apocalypse and going like, why are our masters suddenly losing the plot like this, and their journey of survival to get through this. And I mean, I think apparently Omar was rating it like nobody's business. It's got an intro from Alan Moore. So I mean, Moore has obviously read it and gone.
Yeah, a fussy dude, so
100%. So yeah, I'm keen to read it just to see if there's similarities between the two, just both of their takes on it. I mean, just knowing Garth Ennis the way I do, I know this one's going to be blood, guts, gore, mayhem, etc. And I'm really interested to see if he can do this human-like take, anthropomorphic take on these 3 characters, and how well he does that. Because I can say Grant Morrison does it very well in this thing. Beautifully done. So yeah, that's the next one I've picked up and I'm going to read. I picked up from another dude. I remember I once reviewed that Batman Black and White, Volume 1. So this is Batman Black and White Volume 2, and I also managed to pick up Volume 3. Haven't started Volume 3, so I'm almost finished with this one. And again, I've got to say, there's the first couple stories were all excellent so far, but every now and again there's this, best way to describe it, like I did with it, is a bit of a mismatch, maybe artist and writer mismatch, where in some cases the art is visually striking and I'm entrenched in the art, but the storytelling didn't quite work for me, or vice versa. The storytelling has got me hooked in the idea, but the art is semi-disconnecting.
It's interesting, dude. I'm usually not a Mignola fan, and I really like this cover.
Nice, eh?
Yeah, I really dig it. Like the way it's like
but
rough, cokey.
For me, this is Mignola at his best. It's
the negative spaces ignored.
100%. I'll bring something out of it that just you never expected. And on that note, the one person who surprised me similarly like this when we got to see him was David Mack, when he did that one cover for you of Sandman, where took a black Koki and there was this line, and before we knew it, suddenly it's like, there's fucking
it's
Dream.
actually right there,
there's Dream's face, there's this, there's that, and it's almost like the moon and the star that he did was a bit just to add to but just watching line strokes, and before you knew it, this thing appeared. And I think Mignola for me is the exact same. It's like he looks at the page and this thing's there, and all he's doing is he's just bringing it out of this thing that he's envisioned straight away. It freaks me out how good he is. So again, I love the short story element. You know, when we interviewed Dev and he was talking to us about the skill, the task in telling a story in a limited amount of time and space, etc. And I like these. I really do. And I mean, here, dude, just to give you an idea, Brian Azzarello is one of the writers. Alan Burnett, Mark Buckingham, John Buscema, John Byrne, Howard Shakin, Chris Claremont, Gene Colan, Paul Dini again, Warren Ellis. So like the writers are like up the yin-yang. Jim Lee on the arts. Who else artist was? Eduardo Riso, Alex Ross, Tim Sale. You know, it's like amazing mixes together. And like with before, some of them nail it for me, and there's just this, and Mark Mignola, obviously. Some of them really do connect, and they do well. And sometimes, a little bit of mismatches for me. And like the previous number one, there's 2 or 3 stories that, stood out for me more than the others. The others were just like, okay, nice little Batman tale, but the 1 or 2 where like, fuck, you sit there, you got like almost like goosebumps in a way, like cold shivers, or just harshness about the story, just like, wow, okay, sheesh. So I'm loving it, and yeah, I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna move on to the third. I'm crossing fingers and expecting I'll have a similar kind of review on that. And the third is actually almost double the thickness of this one, so it looks like there's much more in the third one. And then another one that I've picked up that I've been looking for a while, and again, I'm sure it was Uncanny Omar who said this thing is amazing. I think it's The Hood. It's a 6-part miniseries written by Brian K. Vaughan. I mean, Brian K. Vaughan is like next level, Why the Last Man and stuff like that. And yeah, came over to Marvel, picked up this obscure character that, thanks to this, is a decent sort of hard to place villain, anti-hero kind of thing in there. So it's the way I understand the story from listening to Omar, this guy gets this hood, and the hood gives him all kinds of supernatural like powers, and he doesn't go the Spider-Man route. He grew up on the mean streets, bit of a criminal inkling, and he doesn't go the hero route. He goes the villain criminal route with this.
Okay.
And apparently Omar was saying like, this is like amazing, well written, good story, makes you think about the other side. It's almost like a villain by circumstance and not really by choice, in a way. So I'm keen to read it and give my reviews on it.
Yes.
So those are some of the ones I picked up, found, read. Let's move over to you.
So I'll start with...
Start with it, Mark.
We talked about this. I might have had this on Fines already. I began reading this. So it's by Paul Dini. And you actually, and even Mark Hamill, like did an introduction on this and stuff.
Cool.
And Neil Gaiman, they all so just to give you some context, you explained this to me where it was a story of Paul Dini actually gets mugged and beaten up and stuff. And it was pretty serious. He was put in hospital and everything, which you just saw on the cover. It's actually him. And he decided to make a Batman sort of tale out of it. Now, I'm nowhere near enough to get there in the book, but what surprised me is on the bat, just telling you and the cover and everything, you're like, that sounds like a really dark story. And I'm sure it is. But what's really interesting, and it starts out with him in the scene in the hospital. Yeah. But then it kind of flashes back to his childhood. And it's all this very light-hearted sort of art and what
lucky in a way.
But what it is doing, it's establishing him, Paul Dini, as his own character. He's writing himself as this kid that was growing up. There was a little nerd that liked comic books and no one else understood him, and it's giving this whole depth into him. Nice. Which I was like, what? It's and that's the quirks of
getting you to invest in this character, him as the character, setting that scene for you.
And I know it sounds cliche, but there are all the little things of where he wishes he was stronger, or he wishes he was but he's this scrawny little autistic kid, and so I'm interested to see where the story's going to go. So it was one of those,
I'm keen to get your feedback once you've finished it, because like I said back when, it's on my list to pick up. And I am going to get it sometime, and your review might
influence that.
Accelerate that for me.
And then another one, I think I have had this also on Fines, but I've started reading this and I've actually gotten further in this. So people might recall I talked about the first book on this, which is just The White Knight, or by Sean Murphy. And that book I raved about. I was like, and just to sum it up for people, it's this idea, they play with this idea that Joker could be the good guy and Batman is the villain. And the whole time you're always second guessing if Joker has become good or if it's just all a sham, as it usually would be. And you kind of this picks up, and it's strange, man, because it's gripping me and it's cool, but again, it has that sequel effect where I'm not enjoying as much as the first one.
Okay.
But it's still an interesting take because Joker also, again, trying to screw with Batman, sets up this whole thing and puts this whole thing in motion to get Azrael into so you'll see he's in the back there.
Okay.
And he starts trying to take on Batman, but it goes all the way back to like, and this is where I haven't finished, and I don't know where the story kind of goes, but they're playing with the idea that, you know, Azrael's family, again, I don't know much about Azrael, I can't remember, but his whole family was betrayed by the Waynes and whatever, and what they're playing with is the idea that Bruce Wayne actually isn't a Wayne. But I think it's all Joker trying to like, you know, mess with Bruce and what he stands for and the reason he is what he is. So it's still an exciting story, but what I do want to say is it's possibly, you know, sometimes you just read something at the wrong time and you kind of like can't stay focused, and you know, so I do want to go back and reread some of the stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that they carry on where there's this.
So you do have to have the previous one.
I would,
context,
because like there's small things, I can't remember what they're called. I should, but there's a team that Jim Gordon assembles that like they ride around. They're like not vigilantes, but they're more like what's the word?
An elite police force.
Yeah, kind of thing. And they're in this, and you wouldn't know why and how they are. And Dick Grayson's there, like all of them. So, and again, Batman loses like the complete plot here in this at a stage because he's just like struggling, and Dick Grayson like talks to him about like the aspect of family and how he actually was a father to him, and so there's a lot of cool deep cuts and stuff, and continuations, but there was an energy, and again, it might be, like I said, like the time I read it, but I still do want to finish this, but I haven't. Whereas remember I told you the first one I almost
couldn't
like
put it down.
ate through in like one sitting. So again, you know, I don't want to judge it too early.
No, sure. Fair enough.
Yeah, then I mean, this I don't even know if it's. I mean, I'm always talking about Sandman, so
Sandman.
I want to finish. So this is like more to read, like, you know, giving myself homework to read volume 4 of Sandman.
Okay, so it's on the to-do list.
Yeah. Again, I don't have to. I mean, if anyone's watched the episode, they know. They
know you're going to get there.
Yeah, this is a fine, technically from Warren. Warren was kind enough to donate this to me.
Only because I had to, in getting volume 2 and 3, the guy made me take one. He didn't want to break up the set. But, yeah.
So, yeah. And I mean, you've told me some stuff to look out for. So then this is more fines. I got this in a random auction, and I'm excited about it. So this is, I suppose I'm just holding them up. But I know, like, in the Vertigo world, there's, like, books of magic, and I've never really followed it.
Let me just hit, there we go.
And the little... If there's any fans out there, they're probably going to like throw stones at me, but it appears to be the Harry Potter of like of Vertigo. But I mean, now this is a Hellblazer story within magic, and it's only 2 parts, dude. So this is the whole story. So I picked it up really cheap on an auction, so I'm really keen to just read that for the fun of it and check it out. And then this one is, I got it purely for the cover because I have the Omnibus, which I'm yet to still read.
Finish, actually. You're reading it.
And I just got this because this is one of those like classic Zatanna covers that's like a must-have.
And again, even if you did frame it in some way and stick it in with your Zatanna's statues somewhere behind one or something, could work.
That is an idea I'm playing with. So, yeah, man. And then, I don't know if you want to jump onto your action figures and stuff, but I mean, I've got one that you can... see there.
Let me start with mine and we can finish with yours. You're one guy. So yeah, there's a dude. I have to give a big shout out to Seth Wollen. I think he's changed. His surname is not Wollen. That's just the first half of it. It's like Wollen. I can't even pronounce the full name. But big shout out to Seth. We connected on. He had like one figure that I was interested in, and that's just blossomed into a whole bunch of others now. Hooked me up with a ton. I think he's also got a page where he's calling himself the Toy Guy.
Okay.
Under correction. But, so the first one that he had that intrigued me was one that I was looking for from McFarlane and just wasn't finding here or getting. And it's going to probably appeal to, like, Keegan. Warhammer 40,000 figure. This is like the proper Ultramarine. the cool armor, the weird chainsaw-like sword, etc. And that's basically, this figure here is my image. Whenever someone mentions Warhammer to me, this is like what I
it comes
of.
up.
So I just thought I need to have one of these in my collection in my life. It's just the detailing, the everything about him. He just looks so sick.
Yeah.
You know, McFarlane just nails these things, man. So there's this, and then there's now, apparently Seth, I think, has got a female one.
Oh, cool.
That I'll probably end up getting as well. And just, yeah, I love him because he lets me pay him off.
Nice.
And then, yeah, that one led to...
Ooh, Mr. Sinister.
Yes, and...
That's
this is
cool.
like, for me, one of the best looking Mr. Sinisters. I do have one, but this one, just the shape, the everything, and it's Marvel Legends. I'm loving Marvel Legends. This is, for me, the definitive 6-inch line. No one can touch Hasbro with these as yet. I am going to still pick his brain and see if he can find me one or two other characters here. If you look on the back, there's a Wolvie and a Nightcrawler that I do want.
Jeez, that could be
So,
cool.
the Nightcrawler comes with his swashbuckling sword, the whole thing. So
Nice.
I do want to get those out of this set, and I'm going to pick his brain to see if he can find them for me, as well as that X-Man that I'm still looking for, that those people have lost. And then you remember once with Cosmic, we got that Doom Marine. He managed to bring in one of these like variants of the Doom Marine. It's the unicorn. I just think this is so fucking funny. I love it.
Kind of like, I know it's different worlds, but it kind of like reminds me of Deadpool for some reason. Like the
100%.
The hilariousness
it's
of
right
it.
in there, yeah. So, dude, I just had to have it, man, with the fucking magic wand-like gun, the fucking wings, just everything about this. I'm like, yeah. I don't even think this is ever going to come out of the box. I'll probably just keep him somewhere and take the original one out.
Yeah.
But I just love that idea. It's just so funny, Pink Princess style. And then another one that he's managed to find for me that I've also, you know, I've been looking for him for a while.
Cool.
McFarlane's Spawn. And
Yeah, the Mortal Kombat version.
yeah, and I don't even know, the original one came with a sword. And then I think after the sword, they did a battle axe one. And now this one has this mace club-like thing.
Okay,
so,
cool.
you know what, dude, for me, it's just, I don't give a shit which version I got, just as long as I got a fucking Spawn from McFarlane. And an articulated Spawn. So I'm over the moon that I've got it.
Nice.
The next ones that I do want to try find and track down is a Sub-Zero and a Scorpion from this, and then
That'd be
a
cool.
McFarlane Raiden, and then I'll be okay. So they are out there. He's doing them. So to be continued, to be sourced and found. And then the one that he's got for me, and I'm not going to stop with these. Slowly over time, I'm just going to get more and more. Is the Hasbro, the new G.I. Joes in the 6-inch format. So, as all of you know, those who follow us, G.I. Joes come in the 3 3/4 size. This is basically double that size at 6-inch. Yeah, so it looks like Hasbro and G.I. Joe has the smaller ones have been parked in favor of the 6-inch line.
Nice.
And they're releasing in various ways. So I think him, Duke, Scarlet, and Roadblock were the first wave. Then now there's another wave where the Baroness comes, and she even comes with a bike. And oh my god, the Baroness looks amazing. Destro's in there. They've got Gung Ho. So out of that, if I could get a Baroness, definitely, and Gung Ho. Then in another line, they've got the Cobra Commander.
Oh, cool.
Seth's got one, so I'm probably going to buy a Cobra Commander. And then there's a Beachhead that's going, and I'm trying to get him to find Beachhead for me. So I just need to nag him for more, see if he can confirm it. And then, sadly, to my detriment, in that same line now, again, Star Wars, also by Hasbro. Also, we're coming out in 3 3/4. They've decided, no, they are going to do 6 inches too. And they call them Star Wars Black. So he's already put aside for me, and I've paid for my Mandalorian with the child, Grogu. Nice. So I've got that. There's an Ahsoka one that's coming, so I'm getting Ahsoka. I think there's a Bo-Katan, who's also one of the Mandalorians. I've got that from him. He's got a Vader set aside for me. I've asked him for a Luke from the Jedi. Nice. So I'm getting all the characters I want in that line. Thankfully, it's not going to break the bank too much, but yeah, it's 600-700 rand a figure there. It's the imports. That's really the crunching killer there. But Yeah, because he had a Mandalorian, and I said, look, I won't take the Mandalorian unless you've got a Luke and a Vader. And he's like, well, sucks to be you. I've got Vader, here you go. And Luke's coming in my next shipment. I was like, damn it. So I've committed to those. And then there was another gent advertising this. I think you tagged me in
Yeah, I
this.
did. I was actually wondering if you got it. How cool.
Yeah, you tagged me in this, and it's I love him. I actually want to try find the Nightwing that came in this series. The Batman who laughs. I love the character. Had to get him. My friend Seth has a lot of the others too. He's got the Drowned. He's got the Green Lantern
hectic.
one. So slowly but surely, I might actually amass the Devastator, all of them, and see if I can get all of these guys to go with the Batman who laughs, and I might just have all of them on their own dedicated shelf there too.
Yeah, and I see it says connect to build there or something.
Yeah,
like
so you get, with this first wave, the 3 of them came with something to make one of the Batmobiles.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a kind of a weird version from one of the cartoons or something like that. So, yeah, I'm not as interested in the car.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen the Nightwing, and it's a very nice Nightwing. So that's why I want it. But now that I've found the Batman who laughs, and I see Seth and a few guys have these other figures, if they're the right price, I'm probably going to start picking all the ones that I want and need to see if I can get that entire squad of them there, and it's going to cost me so much. But they're not as a bigger priority as first getting the Star Wars ones and a couple more of these G.I. Joes. Those are prime on my list.
Nice.
And it's not much. It's like 3 or so from each line. And once I've got them, then I can maybe turn my attention to the rest of those McFarlane fucking Dark Death Metal and Dark Knights Metal figures. Oof. Dude.
Good luck.
Yeah, dude. So these are some of my recent action figure finds.
Nice,
and
man. That's epic.
I must say, it's nice to pick some of these up again and pour a smile to my face. And I've got a good connection, and I've made a few more. So between them, I'm just going to say, guys, this is what I'm looking for. Can you find them? Can you get them? And cross my fingers from there.
Yeah, nice.
And now, talk us through the one that you managed to find, because this was a mini quest of yours. And
it's funny. It's a little story. I've actually got to be careful, but I'm collecting. I mean, we started out hating pops, and now I'm still sticking to only getting characters that I want. So sure. I'm obviously after Justice League Dark, and a dude was selling one secondhand, and I didn't look. I just bought it, and and again, I don't know if it was like that or if it's the packaging, but a bit of the packaging was like broken and stuff. Yeah. And I'm not precious, but also already all my cool ones are boxed, so I wanted to keep it that way. Yeah. So anyway, long story short, I took that little Swamp Thing out of his packaging, and he's in my office. I'll maybe try and insert a little photo in my office, because I got a few little collectibles there just for the fun of it.
Nice.
But then I was kind of like, I remembered the kind guys from Smallville had, and I asked them, and they had it. So, and it was similar price, so it came, new and everything. So I got a little Swamp Thing now, and my Justice League Dark, and
so it's just really the Constantine that we need to find.
Yeah, pretty much. And if they make a Dead Man, I checked, I haven't seen one yet. And then I also do want the little Nightcrawler pop to go with my Gambit.
So far, the only one I've seen is that movie version one. I haven't seen a comic-y.
Yeah, I think there is a newer one coming out sometime soon, apparently, they say. And it would be cool to get a Dream pop, but I don't think they exist yet, so I can have Death and Dream.
Yeah, I haven't searched for it, but it makes sense to me that she came out first because she entered the main DC universe before he did. So, yeah, he's definitely coming, especially with the Sandman audiobook out and the series.
Yeah, I do think they will do a re-release, so there'll be another version Death, because they've always got an excuse to do another version, and they'll do the whole Endless.
Oh, that'll be cool.
So I'm secretly terrified for my life that when it explodes, that Iron Studios are going to be like, okay, all the Endless, the 1/10 scales, and I'm going to be like,
and Mark gets a second mortgage on his house.
Pretty much.
So, if you liked what Mark and I were talking about here, or just like our content in general,
please like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification for more videos.
And do us a favor and find us on the social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram.
See you in the next video.